we're about to have these reports, and they're going to only be given a few minutes to summarize, but we're actually going to write up summaries. And if you left us your email, please, because I'm trying to save postage. If you don't have email, give us your regular snail mail address. We're going to send up summaries, and then my staff and people who have been involved in block by block and other neighborhood, the NCPCs, whatever, we're going to go through them, and we're going to prioritize some of our work around what you came up with today. And we're going to let you know how you can then come back and join us on accomplishing some of those things. So some of them were big things, some of them are small things. A lady over here in public safety said we may need to make it safer for wheelchair residents. And so we'll form a small group with our disabled commissioners and see what we can do about that, even though it might have not been the top project. So we're going to be going through that. We're going to give that back to you. We will probably have follow-up meetings in small projects, but we may have another big meeting again before the end of the year. We're going to see how quickly this works. You were our experiment. We wanted to see what worked, what didn't work. We probably should have done an evaluation. If you have email, we'll probably send you a survey on what worked, didn't work. So I'm going to have Jim just say a few words now because people might leave. I want you to know that there are over 225 people here before we broke up. So give yourself a hand.
Oakland is on the verge of doing some extraordinary things. During Mayor Quan's campaign, things happened that have never happened before. Over 4,000 people signed up and did some volunteer work in her campaign. So we're on the verge of moving things. Out of that campaign, after the campaign, a number of the people who were volunteers decided that we want to stay together, form a citywide volunteer organization to help our mayor become even more successful. So we have started that organization. We've had 4 meetings so far, and we want everybody in Oakland to join this organization, Block by Block Organizing Network. Jean's husband, Floyd, myself, Ms. Montgomery, Sammy Willis, I believe, all have clipboards if you're interested in joining up with us. We want to grow that organization to be at least 200,000 people. And we already participated in volunteering to make the inauguration successful. We participated in a cleanup of District 7, where we had over 200 people come out, and we did a bang-up job of cleaning up District 7. We're organizing town halls in each of the 7 districts of the city. So we want you to come out, join with us, help us grow to be 200,000 and even more people, because we're going to not only help the mayor, we're going to empower our neighborhoods. So please come out and help us. Oh, right after this meeting, those who are part of the planning committee that helped to plan this town hall, and others who are planning other town halls, we're going to meet for a short time and have a recapitulation of what is going good, what's not going good, to help the other town halls. Thank you.
Thank you. So I want to get clear so I don't get in trouble. Block by Block is a nonprofit group. It's not a political group, but it is dedicated to organizing Oakland. And so, yes, literally, we had 100 people. City staff, there are not enough city staff to do what we've been doing in a short period of time. We walked all of Beat 33 in 4 hours because we had 50 volunteers when we were organizing for the cleanup. So that's what we're talking about. If we're going to do a safety drive in a neighborhood, or we're going to look for all the kids under 3 in a neighborhood, and West Oakland is one of the areas where we're going to do baby college, similar to the Harlem Kids Zone. And so if we want to help identify every family under 3, if you have 50 volunteers, we knock on every door and look for them. We can do that in 1 weekend. So that's the kind of thing we're going to do. That's the kind of energy. The city doesn't have enough resources. If we're going to, I'm sure that part of the reason this turnout is bigger than most of we've had in recent years is because we had the extra block by block volunteers. So that's what that's about. So we're going to start with the first group. Looks like in our environmental and public works group.
Good afternoon, Oakland. My group is the streets, sewer, sidewalk, street lights. We came up with 3 key areas. They are concerned about the air quality, water quality on our streets. So as a result, they are recommending green streets, using potable water, at the same time meeting ADA by creating a good path of travel on our sidewalks. They're also concerned about soil overflows, talking about using recyclable water as opposed to using regular drinking water. On-site water retainage. If we retain some of the water, some of the rainwater, we slowly let it use it for our lawns, use it to water our lawns and other uses within the house. They also talked about the sidewalks. Sidewalks, we have a total of about $80 million damage, 60 million private damage, 20 million is public, but there is limited funding on the public side. So they are recommending to stack the infrastructure in terms of, for instance, using bioswales, sewers, streets. So if we have funding for one, we can use it for the others. So as you can see here, the top priority is the green street. Hopefully, there'll be some funding, to make that happen. But we can take the baby steps using, the recyclable water, using bioswales to at least make some changes. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, first, will everybody from the Port group please raise your hand? Port and Oakland Army Base. As you can see, we had a big group, and I've sort of given you a glimpse of the extensive process we went through. We had 2 sheets like this. It's pretty clear, if you look at this, where the dots went and what our top 3 priorities were. Relocate the recyclers, reduce truck traffic, and make the Oakland Army Base project happen. Those are our top 3 priorities, and we concluded as a group that they're all interlinked. And we actually did develop some specific action items under the Oakland Army Base project, executing an agreement as soon as possible, making sure the community benefits agreement that is part of the overall agreement includes plans for the recyclers and plans to reduce truck traffic. And then we also talked about some independent ways we can tackle these problems. For example, on truck traffic, exploring and possibly mandating or developing a policy around night gates so that trucks have access to the ports, not just during the day, but also at night, so to reduce traffic during the day. Before I wrap up, I just want to say thank you. I'm really amazed personally at how hands-on our mayor is. So thank you to the mayor. Thank you to Councilmember Nadel and to Supervisor Carson for coming out. And I'm going to introduce our session was co-facilitated by our commissioner at the port, Margaret Gordon. I don't know if you want to say a quick hello.
Hello, everyone. And one of the things that I think was new to the whole scenario about the Army base is rail. Rail would make the port more significantly competitive with all the other ports in the state of California. Rail must happen because it not only create jobs by building rail, it also create jobs by moving goods out, and also supports the environmental issues of getting trucks off the street. So rail is a very key thing to this overall project.
Thank you.
I'm speaking on behalf of Jobs and Economic Development. We actually have 3 main areas that we focused on. I'm going to talk about local hire. One of the things we talked about is looking at best practices from other communities across the country, including East Palo Alto, Richmond, Chicago, looking at policy and operations. We also talked about areas like Hunters Point, Pier 94. We talked about the need for funding for training, sustained training. We talked about the need for have a catch-all for low income and banning the box. And finally, we talked about an integrated pipeline to careers, which means that you have everything and everyone who makes up the community working together to create a sustainable path for folks to get jobs from the early education onwards and upwards. Thank you.
My name is Tracy Smith. I'm a 29-year vet of Retail Clerks Union. The reason why I'm here is because I live in West Oakland, and we need a grocery store. I'm tired of watching. I have a car. A lot of my neighbors do not have cars. I'm tired of watching my neighbors go to all of the small corner stores to purchase groceries. I think it's unfair. I think that West Oakland deserves a grocery store, and I think that West Oakland, people that live in West Oakland deserve union wage jobs in order to live here. I think that we should get support from the government and that we should have some type of apprentice program in order for our people in West Oakland to get these union wage jobs.
Thank you.
I'm going to talk a second about the hiring, the training. Not everybody wants to go to college. Not everybody will do well in college. Whatever happened to the concept of people who can deal and prosper in a vocational education training situation? We have jobs here in Oakland. We need to train our own youth to go from middle school through an associate's degree, to walk out of school into a job, to be able to have a part-time job in the field that they're going to go in while they are in high school. It's been proven that if a kid has a part-time job and they're engaged and interested in it, they will stay in high school.
So in the youth group, we came up with 3 general categories and had solutions underneath each. The first category was job development. The second category was incentivizing programs to encourage youth community development. And the third category was budget for youth programs. And underneath job development, some of the solutions that came up were public works programs to address job development, support for school curriculum, form and connecting with youth with employment opportunities. Violence and trauma must be addressed before we can do anything. And then also planning for economic development and incorporating youth into the process. Now, under incentivizing programs to engage youth and community development, some of the ideas that came out were process should include the youth. Council of schools, maybe we can get a coalition of different students from all the different schools in Oakland to come together and to come up with policies that we can incorporate in the city. Breaking down of generational barriers, chess mentoring, additional mentoring, and engaging churches and other faith-based organizations. And the third thing was budget for youth programs, and these ideas were youth events are, make youth events affordable, transportation for youth, place an ordinance or measure, place an ordinance or a measure on the ballot to incorporate more budget for youth programming, use church facilities, formation of youth centers, have a youth day for professionals to educate youth, and to grow the budget with a progressive tax policy which is sustainable. And then also, number 8, incorporate a sin tax on liquor stores, limiting liquor stores in neighborhoods, and also so we can spend more money on groceries and also violence prevention programs. Thank you.